I'm Chad.
I'm Dad. No, wait a minute, I'm supposed to be Dad first.
Oh yeah, you're Dad.
I'm Dad.
I'm Chad. And this is our channel.
What you working on?
There's top skin.
This is the left wing. So we skipped ahead. The wings are pages, I don't know, 61, no, 57 through 78, I believe. And that's the fuel tanks and the, yeah, that's the fuel tanks, and basically everything. There's a lot of things that go in the wings, the flaps, the ailerons, all the wiring for the strobes, the wiring for the landing lights, wig-wag. The flaps have a cable that pull a bell crank, and the ailerons have a pulley system with wires. So we skipped ahead. We basically skipped ahead in the instructions and built, let's see, if you go to page 79, it starts on the tail cone. And we've gotten to about, basically once we finish the wings, then we can go to page 111. And then from page 111, then we go to from page 111 to page 139 is what we have left. Well, 138. So page 111 to page 138. So 26, 27 pages. Yeah, 27 pages left after we get the wings done. And then, of course, we have the engine installation and the avionics, which we talked to a company up in Fort Worth yesterday, and they're putting us a quote together basically for all the instruments and cutting the panel, installing them in the panel. I'll have the panel probably powder coated, and then I wanted to see what they would charge me to wire it, to wire the switches and the fuses, breakers, and then basically give me enough length to run it to the engine and everywhere else it goes, magnetometer, all the boxes, everything. And then I terminate all that. So they're going to quote me that price, and then they're going to quote me the price to where I do everything. They'll cut the panel out. I'll basically put all the instruments in the panel, and I'll build all the harnesses to everything, which I don't mind doing. But like I was telling you guys earlier, if they say, hey, we're going to do it for a couple $1,000, we'll terminate everything that you need on the panel, and all you have to do is terminate to the engine. And whenever you mount the boxes, I don't know what's all involved, but all the boxes that are involved. But once I mount those, then I terminate all that in. To me, if it's a decent price, I'll go ahead and have them do it, like I told you guys earlier, just for the simple fact that I can do my regular job and make money doing that versus working on something that somebody would charge me cheaper than what I would make at my regular job. So I'm waiting on them to get back to me. They said next week. So I'll go over that with you guys once I get the quote back. Hopefully we can get started with them. They seem pretty good about being able to answer questions and very knowledgeable. They work on general aviation. He said they've done some experimental, and you just get by with a lot more stuff on experimental than you do general aviation. And that's one reason we did it, not to do any shortcuts, just basically so we could work on it ourselves. We are hoping, which I think I've said this before, to have the airplane completely finished and painted and put together. I'm going to have to basically turn the airplane perpendicular to where it is now to put the wings on. So the wings will come this way and go that way. I think the airplane's like 28 feet wide and the billowing's 50 feet wide. So that'll give us plenty of room. We'll have to maneuver some things around, but I think we can get it all built in here. And then once it's built, we'll have to take the wings back off to get it out, trailer it up to the airport, to our hangar, put the wings on at the airport, and then start doing our tests before we actually fly it. So I think that's going to be the plan. The wings really don't look that hard to put on. I'll show you guys right here. This is going to be the outside edge. So this is what I've cut for the landing lights. And I'll show you guys that real quick before I show you how the wings attach. But here is, I've got these mocked up. These are the landing lights and the wigwag for nighttime. So these will go in back here. And then, of course, they rivet from the back. I've already got the holes drilled. But they'll rivet in, and then if you can see the bolts on the sides, they'll be adjustable to where we can adjust it where we want it, how we want the lights, the angle of the lights, kind of like in your car. You know, you want them exactly where they need to be so you can see, kind of like in your car. You don't want them facing up or down too far, because then you won't be able to see. They're worthless if they're not adjusted properly. But yeah, check this out. So we went yesterday, and we're getting Garmin. I wish Garmin sponsored us. If we were big enough, that would be so awesome, because Garmin has some awesome products. When we went to Oshkosh, we looked at some other products, and man, I just am sold on the Garmin, the tech support, and it's like they've thought of everything. I don't have it yet. I've played with them. I've watched tons of YouTube videos. Some of the other guys that have them. Of course, Mike Patey has them. Trent Palmer has them. A lot of the guys that I follow. And if they're good enough for those guys, there's some good stuff. We're going to get a G3X touchscreen 10.6 inch panel. So that's going to have, oh my gosh, there's just so much stuff that it does. And I'm still learning this stuff, guys. I'm no expert, but it just has all this different stuff. And I'm not a pilot yet, but Dad is. And when he flew without any of this stuff. He flew with just steam gauges. There was no GPS. He quit flying like in the early to mid 90s. But I mean, you have your sectionals, and it shows you where you are. You don't have to do VOR type stuff with your radios. I mean, it's just, it'll show you where you are at an airport, to where, you know, if they tell you to go a certain way on a runway, you don't screw up. You know where you are. It's got terrain, artificial, synthetic vision, and this obstacle alerting if you know you're going to fly into something. All your engine vitals for your engine. You can even get weather. You know, we're going to have autopilot with ours. I mean, it's going to be awesome. So we're going to get this guy right here, the 10.6 inch landscape GDU 460. I'd love to have two of these, but I mean, we're already spending a bunch of money on all this. So maybe later we get another one, and this will do everything you need. The only reason you would get two is so you don't have to scroll through. Like you could have two things up at one time. You know, you could have you could have this screen up on one, and then you could have, you know, a GPS up on another, you know, but yeah, I mean, you can scroll through them. So you don't have to have it, but it would be really cool. G3X Touch, 10.6 inch, and then we're getting the G5 for backup. And then we're going to get the 507 nav, and then we're getting a comm radio. I think that's right. We're getting we're not getting a nav radio, just a comm. I think we're getting the GTR 200. I think Dad explained it to where you don't have to. We're not doing IFR, so we're going to be good on just the comm radio. We don't need the nav comm. And if you look at the price, you're looking at, you know, $1,200-1,300 versus $4,400. So if we ever do fly IFR, we'll probably have to get another radio and then a navigator, which those guys are $7,000, $8,000, $9,000. But I don't know enough about it, so Don't take my word for it. I know my dad knows more than me. But anyway, G5, the G3X Touch, and then the comm radio. Hey, Dad.
Yeah.
Why do you need a comm and nav radio?
No.
I mean, but why
Unless you're flying radios for VOR.
would you need it in an IFR situation?
Possibly, but with GPS, everything you can use GPS guidance now. They're doing away with the VOR.
But why would anybody even buy that? That's $4,400.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying that's right. I'm just saying that's my understanding.
Okay. So if you flew IFR, you would definitely need a navigator.
You would need an additional radio
You would.
and nav device.
What's the second radio? Like another comm radio?
Yeah. And you would need another GPS device.
Like a navigator?
A GTN 750 or 650. They're about $8,000-9,000.
Okay. Oh, there it is right there. Woo!
I hope this
GTN 750 is 17,500. The GTN 650 is 12,000. That's an all-in-one GPS nav comm.
Yep.
Wow. Okay, I was going to show you guys how the wings mounted. So there's a bolt here. You can see the hole right here. There's doublers in there. And that bolt goes through right here. Okay, and then you've got this bolt, and that is what this guy goes through. There'll be one more bolt that goes here that you don't drill until you put the wing on. So basically those are the two bolts that hold the wing on, except for the strut, which bolts to here, and then it bolts, you can't see it, but well, maybe you can. It bolts to that guy right there. So that's it. You got basically 3 bolts that hold the whole daggum wing on, which is scary to me. But yeah, that's 3 bolts. So 2 bolts in the that hold the wing on, and 1 bolt that holds the strut on. But Rands knows what they're doing. Yeah. So we had to drill all these guys down the leading edge. I had to put the bend in the leading edge, and then these have to be countersunk. I screwed up on that one. Didn't have the ring locked down, so it went a little deep, but it won't hurt anything. And then we had to get another nail because the nails that we had were pulling. They weren't big enough, and they were pulling sideways on the dimpler. So I'm going to go back over these to get them straight, and that way you'll have a correct dimple all the way around instead of a deeper dimple on one side and a shallower on the other. If you can see that, but so anyway, had to drill all these, have to countersink them all. Once all that's done, we can start riveting this thing down, and that's going to be awesome. First part of riveting in a while. So hey guys, thanks for watching another episode of Dad and Chad.
If you like this video, share it with your friends and give us a thumbs up,
And never miss an episode of Dad and Chad by hitting that subscribe button.
because we'll be back next Tuesday with another episode.
Thanks again for watching
Dad?
and Chad.